The San Diego Zoo Safari Park. It's finally open! Yeah! Closed? No!
We're looking at a group of southern white rhinos out there. And incidentally, the Rhino Rescue Center is a separate and distinct facility from the big habitat out here. Yet it houses the same type of rhino. But the objectives are a little bit different. Everyone out here produces naturally breeding behavior with the dominant male out there. The Rhino Rescue Center is separate and distinct because a different group of bachelorettes or females have been chosen to be trained and desensitized to assisted reproductive techniques being used on them. Rhinos up here on the hill.
Do they travel in packs?
You know, it's funny, you should be observing that. What you're seeing right now is pretty amusing because this is courtship behavior. That is Jake Gregory, our dominant male off to the far left here. He's eating grass. He's trying to play it cool. He's like, yeah, I really like you, but I have to act like, you know. But the three that are the three that are laying down and the one standing up are females. And one of them, the one in the middle, is cycling, and he smells that, and he wants to come over and
Wow.
proceed, but he has to do so with caution. So it's kind of funny to watch because he's kind of the evil eye from Holly. She's like, no, she's too young. Leave her alone. She is kind of a young girl, but not too young to be breeding.
Is a little one in there?
She's not. Oh no, the Edward is going to be. If we see him today, he's going to be at the Rhino Rescue Center.
Oh, okay.
So this is this again is the same rhino we're going to be seeing at the Rhino Rescue Center. Remember, everyone out here breeds on their own. The Rhino Rescue Center, our goal is not only to use the assisted reproductive techniques, but we have a goal in mind. Even though they breed just well on their own, our goal is to try to see if we can do an embryo transfer of another subspecies of rhino called northern white rhinos that happen to look identical to these animals, but they are two distinct subspecies separated by vast land masses in Africa. That northern white rhino that looks just like this one, its population is down to just 2 left in the world. So if we can come here, and so let's backtrack. So there is a backstory to all the females, and if you read this one, I'll shed light on what that was all about. Let's touch noses. So these 6 females, so Mayoto is the sire, the father to all the baby rhinos out of the big field habitat we passed. When we were driving around the Africa field habitat, I didn't see any of his offspring, but there are 3 babies in there. The oldest one, or the youngest one's almost 3. So Mayoto he's been with us for about 8 years on a breeding loan from the Henry Dorley Zoo in Nebraska. You know that zoo?
I'm from Nebraska. Yeah.
Okay, wow.
I'm really familiar with the zoo.
Okay. Yeah, tell them Mayoto's great. He read the fine print, you know.
His job was.
So he came over here, and his job, because this is the type of rhino. I don't know if I pointed this out earlier. Forgive me if I'm repeating myself. These are the type of rhinos that females need to be around each other to cycle. So we have a group of girls together, all trying to trigger each other to cycle and everything. He's kind of put there as like the teaser, you know. So the goal was never to have them actually breed with any of them. But about 4 or 5 months ago, on, little one, it's time. Oh, somebody's gonna come visit you now.
Oh my God.
This is Dakari. Dakari is a rhino from the big field exhibit that was brought back here a little over a month ago. And she was brought back here because she's been with Mayoto and she's been with the new male and she hasn't gotten pregnant. And we have reason to believe that it's probably something with her rather than with the two males. So they are gonna and she's got a really good disposition. She's very gentle. She actually in the field people could get out and touch her and everything. But instead she's been brought back here and she's gonna be trained to go into the chute too, even though she wasn't part of that original plan. She's got the demeanor where she probably can pick up the training pretty quickly. She's pretty receptive to that and likes people quite a bit. So Nikita decided, I don't want to do this anymore, and then the keepers are probably going to train her, but they're looking at a timeline of at least a year to give her time to get used to it again. And the reproductive pathologist was a little discouraged. She said it kind of needs to be sooner, but since it's a year that we're looking at, we would rather see her get pregnant through any other means. We'd rather. So that's interesting, because that makes me wonder if she picked up something in her own urine that said she was cycling right now. The keepers collect her because it's a lot easier to get, and it's a much more efficient way, a quicker way of getting to something and using it as a diagnostic tool.
How much does she weigh? A couple tons?
She weighs probably about 4,500 pounds.
Yeah.
These are the tallest and the heaviest of all the rhinos on Earth.
And they can't raise their head above their neck. Wow.
Exactly. See her big square mouth, and also you notice that big dorsal crest coming out between her shoulder blades. You can see right now if on me this close, it would be like, how can I do this? They're designed to be grazers, just big lawnmowers eating from the ground. And fruit doesn't really grow that much in the savannah anyways, and if it did, it would probably have to be something that fell to the ground. This is Rhino talking. I think that's Wallace. So they were all wild rhinos. And they were in a national park in South Africa where rhino poaching was having a huge impact on the population. Some national parks have funding to have anti-poaching units. Some just barely do it. So these guys were taken into care and they were under human care for quite a few years, but they weren't really trained. They were just used to being around people and have people feed them and take care of them. And we decided to acquire them because of their age. And they needed the money, so we brought them over here. Except her, Dakari's been with us. Dakari was born in another zoo.
Hey guys, it's Pterodactyl Girl here, and I just want you to know, Happy World Rhino Day. I really enjoyed visiting at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, and they do have a lot of amazing animals there, so they took a lot care with them, and they breed so much often. The zoo is kind of big, and it seems they have African animals there, and it was a lot of fun to see them and to take pictures with them too. I just wanted to say I am a rhinoceros person, which means it's a lot more interesting than other animals, and they were super iconic to me. Just so you know, I love rhinos so much. They are my favorite animals ever of all time. And the only rhino character that I loved the most was Lord Retaxas from Babar. Thank you so much for watching my special video for the day. I really appreciate it. As always, Happy World Rhino Day!